Good morning, everyone. Happy Tuesday. Hope you're all having a wonderful morning so far. Another cloudy day, though, on tap for us.
Yeah, good morning, folks. Indeed, hope everything is going smooth. You get the kids up, get the coffee going, talking tropics, talking nice air coming in late tomorrow. The winds are going to stay up for a few days.
Okay.
And we've got not one, but two powerful storms within 500 miles of the coast. So yeah, a lot of wind energy for a few days. But all in all, and I've said this a few times in the last several days, we are dodging some significant tropical bullets here. And bottom line, be thankful. With what will likely be two hurricanes within 500 miles of the coast later today. Right now it's a tropical storm and a hurricane. Again, very, very lucky to not be dealing with these. Now the surf's going to be big.
Right.
Dangerous rips and all those usual things. I'll dig into all that. And again, as the storms pull away, the atmosphere stabilizes, gets really nice. And this oftentimes happens when tropical systems move away. We'll get some nice weather, and that'll be the case. So I'm going to dig into all that coming up here in just a little bit.
And our story is related to that this morning. Yesterday, we had our reporter, Stephen Glover, down along the Crystal Coast and Emerald Isle, checking out what conditions are looking like as of now. So that was as of yesterday, but things were still looking pretty rough out there. I know that Emerald Isle had their red flags flying on the beaches yesterday, advising people not to go into that water. Rip current risk was high. They also, I think Stephen caught a water spout on camera as well. So just interesting to see what those conditions are looking like now. And obviously we've been talking a little bit throughout the morning this morning about the conditions that are going to continue throughout the rest of the week.
Yeah, and indeed, they did see a water spout off the coast yesterday, and that's common with tropical systems. If that thing was coming north, Imelda, then we would see a tornado risk developing. Not going to happen because it's now headed out to sea. It's nice to be able to say that tornado risk is not going to materialize because like every tropical system, if you get those bands coming ashore, you get a lot of what we call low-level wind shear. Changing of direction with winds as you go up into the cloud level, and that causes that spinning, that rotation. And you saw that yesterday with that water spout offshore. But again, that risk not coming. We're in good shape.
All right, awesome. So let's take a look at what Stephen saw on the coast. And I know he talked to a few beachgoers as well as why they were out there, what their thoughts are on everything. So let's take a look.
This water spout is spotted right off Emerald Isle. Luckily, it never got to shore. But what is coming along the shoreline are dangerous high tides and high rip currents due to Tropical Storm Imelda.
We went ahead and made that determination to go to red flag. So the data that's out there, the buoys, are showing that we're going to have that long period swell. It's coming ashore, and so rather than be late in making that call for red flags, we wanted to be preventative and get those red flags out there to let everybody know.
The storm issued a moderate rip current risk on the coast on Monday and expecting the surf zone to deteriorate throughout the day, becoming dangerous for anyone entering the water. But for some surfers are taking advantage of the high surf.
It's been pretty good. We're still waiting for this swell to build up, but you know, I'm expecting it to get better and better.
Surfer Patrick Diaz says he uses rip currents to help him get to the bigger waves. But for Fire Chief Matthias, he says for non-experienced swimmers, it's not ideal to jump in.
It's very fast, and especially when we have a larger water volume, when we see these tropical systems come in, it's very dangerous.
Even Diaz wouldn't advise anyone to get in the water.
Especially with younger kids and inexperienced swimmers, I wouldn't recommend going out on a lot of days like these. So try to look for those calmer days when you don't have as many surf and rip current precautions. So.
Yeah, so those waves looked pretty large, and that's exactly what we've been talking about on air.
Yeah, good for the surfers, but the rip currents are high up and down the coast, and that's not going to change for a while. I know there's a lot of the real hardcore beachers. You're trying to get in those last few days at the beach before the season officially shuts down. Don't go very far in the surf at all. The rip currents are not going to come down probably for 4 or 5 days. Even though the sun's coming back tomorrow on the beaches, the rip currents are going to stay very dangerous. So be very safe out there. And yeah, the surf will stay big as well for a few days. That northeast wind's not going anywhere. So the Crystal Coast with that offshore component will continue to get that nice surf. more of a choppy, ugly sea, if you will, along the Outer Banks with an onshore wind the next several days.
All right, well, Jim, let's talk about the rest of the forecast. I know we're talking a little bit of a few rain chances today, but also tracking the tropics still.
Yeah, and more bark than bite, more clouds than rain, but some rain here and there. Generally, it's setting up a little bit to the west, I-95 westbound. Let me get you updated on our two systems. Imelda knocking at the hurricane door, should make it through that door before the day is done. And Humberto weakening, one strengthening, one weakening. There's a look at the amazing satellite imagery. I say that because it's just so unusual to see two systems that close to the U.S. coast, both of them nearly hurricanes, very rare. Humberto, the one closer to Bermuda, Imelda, the one closer to the U.S., and they're both generally turning away from the U.S. now, not getting much closer. There's the two tracks superimposed, and that looks good. I like it. Bermuda, after missing Humberto, their luck may not be as good with Imelda. That storm, Imelda, looks like it may roll very close, the eye of the storm, very close to the island tomorrow night. Let me take them one by one. There's Imelda, the latest data. Winds are at 70 sustained, gusting 80 to 90. When the sustained winds reach 75, over 74, it is reclassified as a hurricane, so it's just about there, and the models say she will get there later today. Moving northeast, that's another big piece of, that's probably the most important piece of information on that graphic. The storm was moving north, 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 now turning northeast, beginning to shift away from the U.S. And until you see that turn, you're always kind of the back of your head's like, you're going to turn, right? You're going to turn. Imelda indeed is doing that now. So that track looks good. The Hurricane Center has been running this way for the last several days. It stays locked in on that track. Look at Bermuda. Maybe a Cat 1 hurricane when Imelda nears the island tomorrow night. That's the overnight hours, Wednesday. And then on out to sea. Adios. Boy, they've the storm, the model's intensifying Imelda a little bit. Maybe a Cat 2. When it crosses near Bermuda, unfortunately, and then finally weakening. And it's following Humberto. Humberto's ahead of Imelda, headed up there into the North Atlantic. There's Humberto. Shift the map over, drop that little Category 2 icon on there. The storm becoming more disorganized, meaning all the convection is on the east side of the storm. It's not that symmetrical anymore. So undergoing wind shear, we call it, weakening the storm over the next few days. As we head in towards Wednesday afternoon, more of a remnant low, although still winds hitting 70 to 80. And Bermuda, again, missing that one, but maybe not as lucky with the second one. So let's talk about what this all means for us. The clouds I mentioned still with us today. Winds will be blowing pretty good, but no damaging winds, no power outages, no big storm surge. This afternoon, we're gusting 25 inland. You guys on the coast, generally in the 30s. Right out at Hatteras Point, maybe south of the Oregon Inlet, towards Rodanthe, Wave, Salvo, Avon, Hatteras, Buxton, and Frisco. 35 to 40, maybe a 41, 42 out there occasionally. So the wind whipping along out of the northeast. That's an onshore wind, so it drives those choppy waters into the coast. Offshore winds, Crystal Coast, you get those nice curling waves, that better looking surf. But a lot of energy in the water coming in. That's why the rip currents stay high down there as well. Tomorrow, just as windy, if not windier, nearing 30 inland on the wind gusts, 40 on the coast. And then slowly tomorrow night into Thursday, the winds start to come down. It's going to take several days to really get those winds to relax. You can see still hitting 25 to 30 as we head into Thursday. But that is coming down a little bit, and we'll continue to do so, I think, on Friday. So these coastal flood warnings, they'll likely be up through the end of the week. Right now expected to be up through Friday p.m., could extend into Saturday. The waves crashing, the surf crashing into the Outer Banks. Potential water level rises 2 to 3 above normal. High tide, which by the way is around 2 p.m. today. And then down east Carteret County Sound side, also a 2 to 3 foot rise possible there. As you get back up the river basins, the water of the Pamlico Sound, under the influence of that northeast breeze, drives southbound, and it's looking for an escape route. It runs up the rivers, the Pamlico and the Neuse rivers, trying to find somewhere to go. So the water starts rising, probably 1 to 2 above normal, all the way up into Washington and New Bern. Maybe a little water into Union Point Park in New Bern around high tide the next few days. All right, there's the impacts, bullet points for you. Today through Thursday, max coastal winds. Coastal, these are coastal impacts because that's all we're seeing are coastal impacts. 30 to 40 on the coast, 10-foot waves, give or take. Angry seas, Highway 12 overwash occasionally possible. And then beach erosion does not look as significant as some of what Aaron brought in, but nevertheless, we will lose some sand in some spots out there. And of course, the rip currents, yeah, very dangerous. That goes without saying. Headlines for today: cloudy, breezy, patchy light raindrops, mid-70s. Mentioned that north to northeast wind. That'll be more northeasterly tomorrow, northerly today. Look at the radar. Rain's coming down back to the west. Got a little stationary front near the coast. Moisture kind of glides up over the front, and you get a stratiform, we call it rain deck, or a heavy overcast sky with light rain I-95 westward. More convective type heavier showers will dot the radar along the coast here and there today, but not a ton of rain. Spotty showers, I'm calling it, as we go through the day. Should cover us. Air temps, we're in the mid-70s, low 70s, and we'll try to get to 76 or 77 this afternoon. Clouds, clouds, clouds. Not much rain. Even the rain in the back to the west starts to weaken a bit. This is drier air filtering in later today, tonight, and as the atmosphere trends drier, the chances for rain go away. By tomorrow, rain chances are completely gone. Clouds are moving out. Get some sunshine rolling tomorrow afternoon. Highs generally mid-70s again. And then watch the numbers come down. Did I go into Thursday morning? I did. We'll be well into the 50s. Thursday at 8:30 a.m., that's a couple of hours post-sunrise. Shave 3 or 4 degrees off those numbers at 7 a.m. Some mid-50s with the wind blowing a bit. It'll feel very cool. And then Thursday afternoon, those are highs. Maybe 72 degrees. That's it, Thursday afternoon under the gorgeous sunny skies out there. All right, here's today again, about 76, I think, will do us later today. Patchy light raindrops, 8-day forecast, damp, breezy today under the clouds. Windy tomorrow as we bring the winds up even a little higher and then start tapering them down Thursday, Friday. I certainly could have slapped a breezy on Friday as well. 72 Thursday, coolest day, if you will, with a double nickel. Sunrise Friday, mid-50s again, sunrise Saturday, and then weekend highs 80 degrees, mostly sunny skies. I don't see any rain after the few showers today. Generally, models go dry through Monday. Tuesday to Wednesday of next week, another rain chance comes in. I mentioned this as well. I meant to talk about that on the morning show. We're going into October tomorrow with these two tropical systems moving away and the models not showing much of anything else for the next 7 days. We're starting to get into that period where we can say, we might have made it through this season. I can't go all in on that yet, but for me, once we get to about October 15, we're usually in pretty good shape. It's pretty rare that something would come this way. And again, I'm not seeing anything on the models for at least the next 7 days. Maybe a good year for us tropics-wise.
Nice, getting closer and closer to that October 15th. So
yeah, and that's a Jim thing. Some people say otherwise,
right,
but for me, once you get to mid-October, those upper-level winds are really pushing west to east. You'll get stuff in the Gulf, but generally that will drive over Florida and out to sea, typically.
All right. Well, thank you, Jim. And thank you, everyone, for joining us this morning. Just want to say hello and good morning to Elaine. Good morning to you. Good morning to John. Saying it's a relief. We agree. Glad to see those storms saying goodbye to the United States. And then, Billy, good morning to you as well. Hope you're all having a great morning. We'll be back again at 8 a.m. for another news and weather update. Hope you can join us then.
This hour of the WITN First Alert Desk is sponsored by Toyota of Goldsboro.